April 30th, 1975. The world watched as Saigon fell, marking the end of the Vietnam War. For some, it was a tragic culmination of years of conflict. For U.S. veterans, it became a moment forever etched in their lives, a complex tapestry of sacrifice, loss, and unresolved questions. But what do their stories tell us about this historic day and its aftermath? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're exploring the fall of Saigon through the eyes of U.S. veterans who served in Vietnam. We'll unpack the events leading to this pivotal moment, hear the personal stories of those who were there, and reflect on how it shaped their lives after the war. Let's dive in. The Vietnam War raged on for nearly 2 decades. By the early 1970s, the U.S. had begun withdrawing troops under the Nixon administration's policy of Vietnamization, leaving South Vietnamese forces to combat the advancing North Vietnamese army. Despite a ceasefire in 1973, fighting continued. By April 1975, it was clear, Saigon was on the brink. April 29, 1975. Operation Frequent Wind, the largest helicopter evacuation in history began. Over 7,000 people, including U.S. personnel, Vietnamese allies, and their families, were airlifted from Saigon. For many veterans watching from home, it was a heartbreaking conclusion to a war they had sacrificed so much for. The morning of April 30th brought chaos. As the North Vietnamese army stormed the city, U.S. forces worked frantically to evacuate the last personnel. In scenes broadcast globally, helicopters departed the embassy as desperate South Vietnamese civilians clung to any hope of escape. This was a tragic day for all who lived through it. But for the brave Americans who fought in Vietnam, it marked the painful end of a long and difficult chapter. For the veterans, the images of Saigon's fall were gut-wrenching. Many had fought to protect South Vietnam, and now they watched helplessly as their sacrifices unraveled in real time. The end of the war didn't mean the end of the struggle for veterans. For many, the fall of Saigon symbolized a painful mix of failure, abandonment, and unresolved grief. I lost friends over there. We fought for something we believed in, and watching Saigon fall, it felt like everything we did was for nothing. That's a hard pill to swallow. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, became a defining challenge for Vietnam veterans. The chaotic withdrawal only deepened their struggles, as many wrestled with survivors' guilt and the lingering stigma of serving in an unpopular war. Some veterans channeled their pain into advocacy, working to ensure future generations of service members wouldn't face the same challenges. Others, however, found it difficult to move on, haunted by memories of comrades left behind and a nation they couldn't save. Over the years, the fall of Saigon has become a symbol of resilience, loss, and reconciliation. Some veterans have returned to Vietnam, seeking closure and understanding. Others continue to share their stories, ensuring the sacrifices of those who served are never forgotten. Books like Matterhorn by Karl Marlantes and documentaries like The Fog of War capture the complexities of their experiences. They remind us that history isn't just about events, it's about the people who lived them. The chaotic withdrawal from Saigon echoes in more recent events, like the U.S. exit from Afghanistan in 2021. These parallels remind us of the importance of planning, honoring commitments, and addressing the human cost of war. For veterans, these moments reopen old wounds but also offer opportunities to share their hard-earned wisdom. They remind us that behind every headline are the lives of those who served, sacrificed, and endured. The fall of Saigon was more than the end of a war. It was a moment that defined a generation of U.S. veterans, a generation that continues to teach us about resilience, courage, and the cost of conflict. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the fall of Saigon. If you're a veteran or have family who served, we'd love to hear your stories in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as we continue exploring the untold histories of those who shaped our world. Until next time, take care.